Hi there. In the previous lesson, I explained different types of clauses, dependent and independent clauses, and I hope you took the lesson. If you didn't, then I strongly recommend that you do, because you will get more out of the lesson today. Today, we're going to learn different types of sentences. Okay? There are 4 types of sentences. There is simple, compound, complex, and compound complex sentences. So let's learn each one of them. Okay, so there are 4 types, as I just explained to you. You may be wondering, why is it important for me to learn all 4 sentence types? Well, it's important because when you use a mix, right, a variety of sentences, then it makes your writing better. It improves your writing, and it also improves your communication skills in writing in particular, but you can also, of course, use different sentence types in speech as you talk to people. So, first, a simple sentence. What is a simple sentence? Okay, a simple sentence, keep in mind, is a complete idea. It's a complete thought. Okay, such as, she sings, the dog barked. Okay, in order for it to be a simple sentence, there must be a subject and a verb, the least. Okay, she, that's the subject, like this girl. And what does she do? She sings, for example. In this case, she is reading a book. The dog barked. The sun set. I read a book. These are all simple sentences. So notice that there is just one idea in each of them, right? I read a book. Somebody is reading a book. That's just one idea, the action of reading a book. So that's a simple sentence. Okay. Now let's practice this. I need you to read the 3 sentences there, and I need you to identify which one is a simple sentence. Okay? So let's give it a try. Okay, so sentences 1 and 3 are simple. Now notice, why isn't number 2 a simple sentence? Read the sentence carefully and you will notice that there are 2 ideas. After the rain stopped, and then we played outside. So there's the rain and there is playing. And the number 1 and 3, unlike number 2, they have just one idea: I like to swim. So this is about a person's ability to swim. Or number 1, she went to the market. Someone went shopping. They went to the grocery market. They bought grocery. So number 1 and 3 are simple sentences. Okay, moving on. We are going to learn what a compound sentence is. Okay? A compound sentence has 2 independent clauses. So this is important for you to understand. And that is why I suggested that you take the lesson on clauses, dependent and independent clauses. So it's important to understand that a compound sentence has 2 independent clauses, meaning 2 complete ideas. And they're joined by a conjunction. I wanted to go for a walk, comma. That's a punctuation rule. It's important to put a comma between the 2 sentences and insert a conjunction in between. But it started raining. She made dinner, comma, and I set the table. John wanted pizza, comma, but Jane wanted pasta. Okay, so there you go. They are all examples of compound sentences. And as I said before, there are 2 ideas in each. I wanted to go for a walk. That's going for a walk, walking. But it started raining, so there's a walk and rain. She made dinner and I set the table. There are 2 ideas, right? Connected with a conjunction. So try to do this exercise. Remember, these are all practice exercises. You just did one. Identify the compound sentence. Okay? Which one is it? There are 3. Which one is a compound sentence? All right. Sentence 1 is compound. Do you understand why that is the case? Do you remember what I said about a compound sentence having two independent clauses. The dog is barking loudly. Number 3, that's just one idea, correct? Number 2 is after the meeting, she left early. So you may be saying, well, there are two ideas there, right? There's a meeting, and then somebody left the meeting. So that's 2. But remember, a compound sentence has two independent clauses, meaning two complete clauses. So if you just said after the meeting, that's ungrammatical. It's not a complete sentence. But in the case of number 1, I went to the park. Okay, somebody went to the park. That's a complete idea. And we played basketball. That's another idea. So you could, if you remove the comma and the and in between, you would have two complete sentences. Like, I went to the park. That's one. We played basketball. That's another. And that is why sentence 1 is compound. Okay? Clear? Okay. Now we're going to learn what a complex sentence is. What is a complex sentence? Well, a complex sentence is different from a compound sentence in that it contains one independent clause, one complete meaning, one complete thought, and one or more incomplete thoughts, dependent clauses. So, what's a complex sentence? Let's look at it. Although it was raining, I went outside. Can you recognize which one is a dependent clause or which was an independent clause? Although it was raining, comma, I went outside. Because I was tired, I went to bed early. If I study hard, comma, I'll pass the exam. Okay? So notice, even though I was hungry, that's a dependent clause, right? Incomplete. Imagine saying to somebody, even though I was hungry, and stop there. Do you think that's a complete idea, even though I was hungry? No. I didn't eat is complete because the people that you speak to, they will know that you haven't eaten yet. You didn't eat. Maybe you're still hungry, or you're hungry that you would like to eat. I didn't eat. So a complex sentence has an independent clause and a dependent clause. If this is not clear to you, please ask me questions after you take the lesson. All right? So try to do this exercise now. There are 3 sentences there. Your job is to identify the complex sentence. Which of these 3 do you think is a complex sentence? Sentence 3 is a complex sentence. We had a picnic. Okay, that's a complete idea. That's an independent clause. While the sun was shining, that's a dependent clause. So while the sun was shining is an incomplete idea. While the sun was shining needs we had a picnic, which is a complete idea. So that's a complex sentence. All right, I hope you're doing well. So far, so good. Now let's study the last sentence type, which is a compound complex sentence. Now, if you remember what a compound sentence is and what a complex sentence is, you should have no trouble understanding this type of sentence. A compound complex sentence has 2 independent clauses. Remember that an independent clause has a complete meaning. It's a complete sentence. It's a standalone complete sentence. And at least one dependent clause. Well, for example, although it was late, that's a dependent clause because the meaning is not complete yet. I stayed up to finish the book. Okay, that's an independent clause. The meaning is complete. And I felt satisfied. That's another complete idea. So notice that there is a dependent clause and 2 independent clauses in this sentence. And the 2 independent clauses are connected with a conjunction, a coordinating conjunction, which is and. In the second example, he was tired. That's an independent clause, complete, but he continued working. Now, but is a conjunction that connects the 2 independent clauses. He continued working because the project was due soon. Now, because the project was due soon is a dependent clause. Now, read the next two sentences and understand how a compound complex sentence is written. Okay, practice exercise for you. Identify the compound complex sentence. There are three, and one of them is a compound complex sentence. Okay? So give it a try. Sentence 2 is compound complex. Can you tell how? After the rain stopped is a dependent clause. We went to the beach is a complete sentence. We stayed there for hours. That's also a complete sentence. And they are connected with what? A conjunction. In this case, it's and. Right? And is one of 7 fanboys conjunctions. And connects two ideas. So you can see that number 2 is a compound complex sentence. Okay? Let's try a quiz. You have done a couple of practice exercises. Now let's take the quiz. All right? That is how you learn, right? Because you try to understand what the rule that you just learned is and how it's used correctly. Its form and purpose. So I'll wait for you to finish and then I'll show you the answers. Okay, are you ready for the answer? Well, here are the answers. So number 1, the cat sat on the mat is a simple sentence. Correct? It's an independent clause. It's a standalone sentence. The idea is clear. The cat, where did it sit? It sat on the mat. Number 2, B is a compound sentence. Can you see how? I wanted to go to the movies, one complete idea. I had no money, another complete idea. And in between the two, there is a conjunction, but. So that's a compound sentence. Number 3, B is a complex sentence. Now, do you remember that we studied a complex sentence is a combination of what? An independent clause and a dependent clause. Because she was tired. That's incomplete, correct? Because she was tired. She didn't go to the party. Now you could reverse the order. You could say, because she was tired, she didn't go to the party. But I prefer to use because as a conjunction. So she didn't go to the party because she was tired is better, I think. All right, so you've taken a lesson on 4 types of sentences. And I think it's important for you to learn how and when to use these. When you write a paragraph or a short essay, be sure to use all of them together. Like in a paragraph, you shouldn't write just simple sentences because the reader is going to be bored, right? The reader needs a variety of sentences. So any questions, feel free to ask. Okay, here's a summary. We learned that there are simple sentences. Okay, there are one just independent clause, compound 2 independent clauses joined by a conjunction or a semicolon. There are complex sentences, 1 independent clause and 1 or more dependent clauses, and there are compound complex sentences. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this lesson. This is a very fundamental lesson because if you want to become a good writer in English, you need to write all these 4 different types of sentences. All right, any questions, feel free to ask. I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson. Work hard and ask if you have any questions. All right, so take care and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.